Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to this presentation. I'm going to talk about inventions and discoveries and the people who made these inventions and discoveries, the inventors or the scientists or whoever. Okay, so important inventions and discoveries made by British people in the past. Okay, so I'm going to be talking a lot in the past simple. So I've highlighted the verbs of past simple, and you'll see the green verbs are regular in the past simple and the red verbs are irregular. So nice and easy to understand. Okay. I've separated the inventions and discoveries into different categories as well. Okay. So the first category we have is this one: media and communication inventions. Maybe try and have a think what could be included here. Okay, let's look at the first invention, and that is the telephone. So of course the telephone has changed the world. All of us have a telephone. All of us use a telephone, especially now with mobile phones or cell phones. Telephone for communicating with people. Well, now with a smartphone, you can use the telephone for just about anything. But of course, when the telephone was invented by Alexander Graham Bell, when he was awarded the patent for the electric telephone, this was in 1876, so about 150 years ago. Of course, from that period on, communication, business, keeping in touch with people, family, friends, completely changed. So you could say the electric telephone revolutionized global business and communication. You can see here, this is the patent application by Alexander Graham Bell for this is the original design for the electric telephone. Patented March the 7th, 1876. So of course, telephone, and by extension, we can think about the mobile phone or cell phone. And of course, we started using cell phones widely in the 1990s. And now, almost everyone has a cell phone. So, first one is cell phone or telephone, and then later the mobile phone, the cell phone. Second, we have the internet. If there's any one invention that has changed our lives, it is the internet. Now we use the internet for everything. For watching media, watching films, watching television, shopping, communicating. For anything, we use the internet now. And of course, it changed our lives when it was invented. And it was invented in its current form by Timothy Berners-Lee in the year 1990. So it's very recent, about 30 years ago. So this 1990 was the point the internet started to look like the internet we have today. This is when Timothy Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web. This is why we have, for any website, we have www dot, his World Wide Web. And here is Timothy Berners-Lee with his early example of the internet. So as you can see, the three verbs we've used on this slide: invented, started, and invented again, are all regular. Okay, second category is technological inventions. Inventions to do with technology. I wonder if you can think of any examples we could include here. Let's have a look at the first example. So the first example by a British inventor was Robert Stephenson and his steam train. So a type of train that is powered by steam, by water vapor. So his early designs, Robert Stephenson played an important role in developing train travel. So this was one of his early designs, called the Rocket, and was a steam locomotive. And this design completely changed how train travel worked. It was built in 1829, and his designs revolutionized train travel, railways, and industry. So for traveling to see people, traveling for business, sending and receiving goods and objects, completely changed with the development of the steam train and train travel. And this was soon spread across the world. Next invention is the computer. So we know that in the past, computers were much, much bigger than they are now. They would be the size of an entire room or an entire house. Here you can see an example of a very early computer. And one British computer scientist was very important in the development of computers and computer science. This man was Alan Turing. Here he is. You maybe have seen the film The Imitation Game, or El Código Enigma in the Spanish title, in which Alan Turing's life was portrayed. So he was a very important man in he developed early computers. And even this logo, which we all know, the Apple logo, is a tribute, an homage to Alan Turing, because rather tragically he committed suicide by eating a poisoned apple, an apple with veneno, poison. And the Apple logo, apple with the bite taken out, is a tribute to Alan Turing and his early work in developing computers and computer technology. Okay, the other category we have is medical inventions and discoveries. Okay, the first one is penicillin. Here's an example of penicillin, the classic antibacterial medicine. It was discovered by a Scottish scientist called Alexander Fleming in 1928, so just under 100 years ago. Alexander Fleming actually discovered penicillin by accident. This means he didn't want to discover penicillin. It was a mistake, an accident. So he discovered penicillin and developed penicillin into the medicine that you can see here, the tablets. And nowadays, it is a vital, a very important medicine used all over the world to fight bacterial infections. The next discovery, medical scientific discovery we have, is DNA. Of course, DNA, or in Spanish, ADN, its structure and the understanding of DNA was discovered by 3 people. These were the main scientists behind the discovery. They are Rosalind Franklin, James Watson, and Francis Crick. So of course, DNA is the genetic code of organisms like animals and plants. And understanding DNA means we can understand life, human life, animal life, plant life, and also the development, desarrollo, the development of our species. Okay, here's an idea. Maybe we've talked about inventions in the past, important inventions or important discoveries that were made in the past. Maybe we can think about inventions happening now or in the future too. For example, maybe soon we will see more electric cars, self-driving cars like this one, where you don't have to touch the wheel, or even flying cars like this one. Another possibility is synthetic meat, so like this. So meat that is grown in a laboratory with no animals. So you could eat a hamburger that contains no ham or no beef. Another possibility is 3D printed human organs. So a heart or lungs or stomach or kidneys that have been printed by a 3D printer and can be used for transplants. So these are some possibilities for the future. Okay. And that is the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for listening, and see you next week. Thank you. Bye bye.